So please give a warm welcome to Bernie Cho.
Good morning. Can everybody hear me okay? The title of my lecture this morning was a bit of a bizarre choice. K-pop 2.0, simpler, better, stronger, faster. This was based on one of my favorite Kanye West Daft Punk songs. Little did I know Kanye West would get in so much trouble this week, so he's nowhere in sight to grab the mic, so I will continue. Just a moment. There we go. Okay. Korea. Is Korea a digital music utopia? In 2006, Korea was the first country in the world to emerge where online digital music sales surpassed offline music sales. Soon afterwards, in 2007 and 2008, we saw the Korean music industry go through a rapid turnaround. From gloom to boom, we witnessed Korea's digital music revolution. From 2000 to 2007, as you can see by the statistics, offline music sales in the form of compact disc, cassettes, and albums dropped by 83%. Offline music outlets, also known as record shops, disappeared at the rate of 95%. However, during that same time, we saw an increase in download music sales, be it mobile or MP3, at 422%, and that consisted of roughly 63% in online music sales and 37% in mobile music sales. And what was stunning was, based on 2007 statistics, by Q1 2008, the IFPI, the International Federation Phonographic, Industry, however, the industry organization, worldwide organization, recognized Korea as the #4 digital music market in the world. How did this happen? Why did this happen? How did Korea get so hot so fast? A lot of that had to do with the fact that Korea has a culture of convergence. Korea had one of the most advanced wired and wireless societies in the world, and that was in large part due to the IT infrastructure. 95% had high-speed broadband penetration. Oops, this is karaoke night. 93% mobile phone penetration, 67% 3G mobile phone penetration, and more importantly was the fact that micropayments.
Let's try this one.
Okay.
If there's a problem.
All right. Micropayments were very common, as well as internet banking. As a result, with such high-speed technology and rapid adoption rates among Koreans, we noticed that Korea's biggest telcos, SK Telecom and Korea Telecom, as well as the largest music TV channel, Mnet, moved to merge their online and mobile services and invest in artist management and record labels in order to provide ubiquitous music content services. Korea was very unique in this regard because unlike any other place in the world, for the first time, you actually saw telcos and music TV channels actually start buying record labels. Now, obviously, it looked like, it smelled like synergy. And soon we saw the top 5 music portals emerge. These rankings change often because the market is so competitive and so close. According to our latest figures, SK Telecom's Melon is #1, Mnet.com is #2, Bugs Music 3, Doshirak 4, and Muse 5. As you can tell, the top 5 is dominated by telcos or the music channel. With such healthy market growth and robust market potential, is Korea a digital music utopia? The picture looks rosy, however, there are thorns. If we go behind and beyond the numbers, just for argument's sake, let's compare apples and melons. And just to be fair, the prices I'm quoting for Apple holds true for both Amazon and Rhapsody, and the prices that I'm quoting for on behalf of Melon also holds true for the other major portals. But the market reality was this: the music portals in 2007 were frankly selling the music for too little. With exchange rates at 2007, we were looking at 500 won or 50 cents per music download. What complicated things more was in Korea, there were controversial royalty collection agencies, not one but two, who combined would take 12% cut, and more often than not, third-party content providers would get another cut of 15%. So at the end of the day, artists and the management were not seeing the full benefits of the digital music boom. They were getting about 35%. If you look to the chart on the right, it was pretty apparent something was not right. Korea was selling music for half the price and giving artists half the amount they could get otherwise overseas. So we saw a market opportunity that an artist-friendly music service was needed. From Hallyu to Hollywood, Korea's hip-hype reality. For many of you, as you know, Hallyu is the term referred to as the Korean wave. Korean artists were some of the best-selling artists in Asia. Boa was one of the top-selling artists in Japan. Rain was one of the top-selling artists in China. Seven was finding success throughout Southeast Asia. But what's interesting to note is the reason why these top Korean artists were selling so well in Asia was they were being distributed by foreign labels. In China, Universal was distributing Rain, and in Japan and throughout Asia, Boas was distributed by Avex. And for many Korean artists who were signed to Korean record labels, many of these labels actually had limited international exposure, experience, and expertise. So as a result, many K-pop artists wanted a simpler, quicker, bigger, better access to foreign markets. Many of them wanted to and waited for major labels or local labels in different countries to pick them up, but that wasn't always the case and it wasn't that often. So as a result, there were a lot of K-pop artists looking to break out and break through to the global stage. Again, we sensed a market opportunity that an export-friendly music service was needed. The third item that I want to discuss is redefining the music terms. The K-pop infrastructure was actually a cracking system. The market reality was that K-pop record labels are actually record distributors. So although the term is English, the definition is very different in Korea. In fact, in reality, it was the K-pop artist management companies, not the record labels, who held all the power and content control. And what was interesting about Korea's industry as well was that K-pop was not dominated by a few massive major labels, as it is in many other countries, but in reality by many smaller, by foreign definition, indie artist management companies. And as a result, you saw recently many top K-pop artists breaking away from their labels and their management. So again, we sensed an opportunity. Why not bypass the record labels and go direct to artists and artist management companies? DFSB Collective, what was our mission? A lot of people ask us what the initials stand for. To tell you the truth, it was created as a joke when we were snowboarding. Fatboy Slim was on the stereo. The lyric was the Funk Soul Brothers. So I figured good enough, it looks heavy and it kind of looks like a boy band. So we went with that. But over time, DFSB started to stand for Delta Force Soul Bass. And the reason was we decided to attack these issues head on. So what we did was we formulated a very simple company strategy. Let's start an artist-friendly music service and give the artist the best percentage profit rates in the market. Create an export-friendly music service where we provided the most direct solutions to sell K-pop music worldwide. And more importantly, where and when possible, bypass record labels and go direct to artists and artist management companies, cutting out needless middlemen. Now, the highlights of this strategy were as follows. Although we can't get into the exact numbers, basically, roughly, we offer close to 15% more in profit margin and over 15 times more in net profit per digital download sale. Our company became the first official Korea-based content aggregator for Apple iTunes and various international online music services, which we'll be announcing very, very soon. But among the ones that we can announce now is iMeme, Rhapsody, Jamster, and more. And more importantly was, over the past year, we've been able to successfully sign a cross-section of Korea's top alternative electronica and hip-hop acts. So this begs the question, is Korea a digital music utopia or is it a dystopia? As hard and as in some people would argue the bad the market was, for some odd reason 2008 actually took an even uglier turn. Bad actually went to worse. what we saw was industry insiders, industry influencers, they were biting the hand that feeds. What we actually saw was the local industry was going for broke. So what we would call adding injury to insult, we saw the following. Hitting the panic button. Many of the local music portals copied the iTunes gift card concept and aggressively targeted iPod users last year by dropping digital rights management and digital music download prices of last summer. What happened with this DRM-free strategy is it flopped. These local music portals not only were offering DRM files that were of a lower quality, but also of service. And the irony was when they targeted the iPod users, who were very passionate Mac users, their servers and players actually didn't work. And so a lot of complaints came in. But the result was there was no significant rise in new customers. And then what made things even worse was the portals pump and dump strategy. The local music portals lowered the price of downloads by nearly 75%. So what used to be 501 got dropped to 121, which by current exchange rates went from 50 cents to 10 cents per download. This enraged artists who felt cheapened and artist management companies who felt robbed. And again, as if things couldn't be worse, the Korean Music Copyright Association, who was collecting royalties on their behalf on every digital music sale, who's supposed to kick them a check every month, they were not giving them a helping hand. They were picking their pockets. It's been the worst kept secret in the industry that Compka had very, very shoddy bookkeeping. No one could figure out who was getting money where, how, and why. But fortunately, last summer, they got busted. And it's very amusing as to how it happened. The chairman of the Compka was arrested for signing up his family members as songwriters and cutting them checks every month, and that got discovered, fortunately. So, in all fairness, the Korean government is actively and aggressively restructuring this organization. And Mnet, Korea's leading music portal, they too also are the biggest music TV channel in Korea, but they also were a record label, and many of their artist contracts were discovered by the Korea prosecutors the Korean Federal Trade Commission as qualifying as slave contracts. Many artists who signed with Mnet with the hopes that they would get more airplay, if things didn't work out, they couldn't break out of the contracts, and if they did, they were harassed in terms of not being able to sign elsewhere. So, it begs the question, is this an artist-friendly market? Made in Korea, only in Korea. The local IT scene, you could look at them as friends, you could look at them as enemies, but I would like to call them frenemies. The reason being is in some ways, Korea was becoming so advanced, they were ironically in some ways becoming an online hermit kingdom. And why is that? ActiveX. In Korea, why is it still active? Korea's top social network, music, and shopping sites still are heavily reliant on this unstable, unreliable Microsoft Internet Explorer plugin, which has been widely abandoned by websites, web designers, and web browsers around the world. The result is this: if you're from overseas and you want to listen to Korean music on a social network, you can't, because you have to download this plugin. Walled galleries, the Democratic People's Republic of Naver and the Down Media Zone. Korea's top portal sites host a wealth of K-pop artist fan sites, artist fan blogs, and artist fan user-generated content knowledge databases. What's extremely interesting is that Naver's knowledge, known as Jisik, has 10 times more content than Wikipedia, and yet it is extremely difficult to access outside of Korea. And what makes it harder is that if you're a non-Korean citizen, it is very hard to register with these services to access these sites. And as a result, it's very hard for people to find out about Korean music if they're not Korean. And ISRC, what is this? Many of Korea's top record labels, music TV channels, and music portal sites developed their own content ID system and did not use the global ISRC, which stands for the International Standard Recording Code, identification system for music and music videos. And this is actually one of the major reasons why K-pop was not legally available worldwide. Because without ISRC registration, Korean radio TV airplay, internet streaming, digital music sales internationally could not be tracked, monitored, or calculated for monetization purposes around the world. So it begs the question, is this an export-friendly market? So what did we do? We decided to, instead of look inward, we decided to look outward. And so the first step, the first phase we decided to do was to do K-pop music market profiling. And we know that K-pop is popular throughout Asia and in North America, but to be safe, we just wanted to take one sample, and that sample was overseas Korean markets. Now, these numbers shouldn't surprise most people. These are in line with pretty much anything you get from a census bureau. But what's interesting was Korean students overseas. They're the #1 source of international students in North America, the #2 source of international students in Japan, and the #3 source of international students in Australia. So based on this data, we decided to extrapolate just a little further. So we decided to look at sample 2. What was K-pop's market potential in the US based on iTunes? Many of you are good at math, so I'll just leave the math to you. But essentially what we did was based on our analysis of the Korean populations in the US, based on iPod user behavior, and what that behavior led to in terms of purchasing patterns in iTunes, we discovered and we calculated that K-pop on iTunes market potential was somewhere between 10 to 15 million songs per year. How do we reach these audiences? How do we target these audiences? That, ladies and gentlemen, one simple phrase: social media. So, case study number 1. The new music TV. As much as I loved and worked at MTV, frankly speaking, the new MTV is not MTV, it's YouTube. And case study number 1 is a concert series we recently launched called Soul Sonic. And what we decided to do was, why don't we go simpler? Get Korean artists to perform locally, but make their footage, make the performances available globally. And unlike Korean music TV channels, YouTube is available anytime, anywhere in the world. More importantly is that we've done a deal with YouTube where we can customize the artists into branded channels with whatever content they want, whenever, wherever. And more importantly is added commercial value. Unlike Korean music TV channels, YouTube allows the artist to embed buy links and offers ad revenue sharing for streaming video clips. This goes completely in the opposite direction of what Korean TV channels do, where they ask for the content for free. They don't share any of the ad revenue when they go on stage or when they go on air or when they go online. And there is no link between what you see and what you can buy. So as a sample, I will show you what the new and improved, jacked up YouTube looks like if the page would just pop up. 저 인터넷 좀 되나요? 이거 왜 그러죠?
Wi-Fi never works at conferences. It's a general thing. Okay, so that was the case of someone calling user service assistance and forgot to plug the cable.
So
Bernie.
That wasn't me. So essentially what we've done here is we've created a branded concert series called Soul Sonic. And what we did is we posted all of the artist videos and information. And what you see here is, in addition to the concert information, we've embedded buy links. So it takes these artists, boom, straight to iTunes. Also, it enables us to send it to the artist sites. But the key thing is this, is that we can custom design these channels to events and to the artists. And more importantly is that early next week, the live concert footage will go up online. And what we've done is, with YouTube, is we are going to be giving the artists part of that ad revenue for their live performances. So the more it's seen by fans, more it's clipped and shared worldwide on YouTube, the more ad revenue the artist can generate. Granted, we don't know how much that's going to be, but something is better than nothing, and to us, that's everything. And what's interesting to note is this particular band, Mad Soul Child, based on their YouTube video, was just booked to be the Korean act at the CMJ Music Marathon, New York's largest music festival, in October. I'm almost done. Okay, next page. Case study 2, the new music portals are actually what we call white label social networks. Case study number 2 is Drunken Tiger KR. And this is better because the band is the brand. It's not Cyworld, it's not MySpace, it's Drunken Tiger. And again, like YouTube, this guarantees an international market. More importantly, it customizes the promotional platform so that the artist can easily, quickly design their own branded sites that, most importantly, connects whatever content, whenever, wherever, into a hub. And it brings added commercial value because what we've done is we've embedded shopping as well as ad revenue sharing into these websites. Unfortunately, it's not ready yet, but the iPhone app was supposed to go live today, but it's been delayed. But to just show you what this new website looks like, and this actually went live yesterday. If you look, what we've done is we've made this new Drunken Tiger website, and it links in to all of their various social networks, whether it's Twitter or Facebook. If we look at the music tab, this music tab has shopping as well as internet streaming radio previews that takes the consumer and fan to the iTunes shop with videos. You can watch all the videos as well as it takes people to the YouTube channel, which we'll go to right now. Yep, to one more page. And more importantly, it also has Drunken Tiger's shopping mall. And a lot of people didn't know, I actually didn't know, but he has his own clothing line as well. So there we go, Drunken Tiger, case study 2. Case study 3, new music media, fan blog sites. And what's interesting is allkpop.com. What we would like to say is power to the people. What was stunning and what was shocking to us was allkpop.com has more online traffic than Korea's top music portal, Melon, and top music TV channel, Mnet. Not only does it have more traffic, it has bigger audience reach, more daily page views per user, and longer time on site. And just to kind of give you a sample of what it looks like, this is the website. Very quickly, allkpop.com. And this is run by a bunch of fans, and the fact that they are generating more traffic, more interest than...
I think you want something, maybe you want to click there.
Okay, and one last one. This is the last slide, promise. And then the last one, the new music star. It's not that content is king, it's context that is king. And the reason is that fans not only buy the music, they want to buy into the music. What does that music stand for? What does that artist represent? And so a great example of an artist that has absorbed all of these new social media models is Epic High, because they went direct to the fans. They went indie, they went interactive, and they went international with their website. And when it opened within the first 30 minutes, 300,000 users logged on and crashed the servers. Now what happened afterwards is with YouTube, they shot to #1 among Korean musicians and also went top 40 among musicians worldwide. And what happened? Without any radio or TV airplay in America, they were the first K-pop act to sell out nationwide. And in fact, in San Francisco and New York, we actually had to upgrade to larger venues. And based on that tour, soon afterwards, they were the first K-pop act to debut in the iTunes Top 10 chart in North America. They debuted at #5 in the US and #6 in Canada. And if you look up here, the video, what was interesting is on the YouTube traffic, over half of the traffic was coming outside of Korea. And what we saw in the audiences at this concert tour was almost half of the audiences were not Korean Americans or not Asian Americans. They were all over the place from all over the map. And that, I will end here, so thank you. The message is social media has the power to shift Korean K-pop music from a fad to a phenomena. Thank you. 감사합니다.
Thank you, Bernie. Thank you very much.